You here for frame perfect input? Like, come inside. Like, I can just open the door for you here now, and you can come in. Like, what are you waiting for? Come on, let's go. Come on. There's been some major news, some major movement when it comes to the fighting game scene right now. But before that, welcome to Frame Perfect Input. It is episode 5. Episode 5. Yes, okay, I actually have the count now. And compared to episode 3, where I completely forgot what number it was. Anyways, welcome. I am your presenter every single day of every week for this thing. Misty MST. Same name on YouTube. You can find me there. If you're actually listening or watching one frame perfect input on my channel, then cool. I did not expect that. But if you're watching on Spotify, you can check me out on YouTube as well. So yeah, big news has come out for Tekken. Not too long ago. I woke up today and I found a bunch of videos by like Joker, by K Wiss, King J, channels like that for fighting game content mainly, or Tekken content focused like K Wiss. Um, Harada decided he's going to leave Bandai Namco, which is crazy. I mean, I can't say it wasn't expected. If you're looking at how everything was leading up, like for example in Tekken 8, he said that he wasn't in one of the bigger roles, one of the leading roles, as he was in prior games, which was a very big sign of like he was trying to pass the torch on to someone else, to the new people, to the crew. Um, so can't really say it was surprising, but it definitely came out of nowhere. And yeah, let's talk about it in this episode of Frame Perfect Input. Wow, Harada leaving. It was going to happen eventually, honestly. You know, he's not going to be there forever. In fact, he was there for what, 30 years? Which is crazy. You know, that's a good amount of time, leading Tekken through so many years. Tekken would be dead without him. Literally, if you know about the history of Tekken somewhat in recent times, Tekken 7 wasn't even supposed to happen because of Tekken Tag 2 having horrible sales. Tekken 7 was willed into existence by Harada himself, basically. And Tekken 7 was the reason I came back to play Tekken seriously. So, yeah, he's definitely an extremely important part of Tekken. And he's made a lot of the big decisions in the end and taken a lot of the force, the brunt of the force for criticism and the like. So, yeah, all I need to say is thank you, Harada, for doing everything that you've done for Tekken, in a series and its existence. Um, One of my favorite franchises is Tekken, uh, mainly because of the decisions he's made with Tekken, with all the game mechanics and everything to spice it up and everything. So yeah, thank you, Harada. But yeah, let's get into the notes that I made, which were literally just not too long ago because of like originally this today's episode was supposed to be different. It was supposed to be something completely different, not even close to the fighting game scene. But after that news hit, I have to make it. I have to. So yeah, Harada is to leave in this month. That really does suck, man. Um, so you know what? Let's go through how Tekken has really affected me and why. If you have not played Tekken, you should play Tekken. But I'll get into the specifics of that because it's not as easy as what I'm saying. Yeah. Anyways, Harada, if I remember correctly, he's been there since Tekken 3 as like an important person to the Tekken project. Tekken 1 and 2, I'm sure he was there, but he wasn't the main guy. Tekken 3 was where it started, and you see how that went. Tekken 3 being one of the best-selling games in the PS1 history. Uh, Big numbers for that console. Tekken 4 decision, even though back then it was considered, controversial and bad, it still was very, very interesting. And you could see how he was willing to take risks. Um, Tekken 5, he went back and all that stuff. Tekken 5 being one of the games I sunk so many hours into because it's so good. There's a reason why majority of the Tekken community say that Tekken 5 is by far the best Tekken in the series to play. Tekken 5 DR is probably the one that they would be referring to, because Tekken 5, the original, is interesting. I'll get to that in a bit, because I think I'm going to go through all of the Tekken games that I've played and know history about, just off of my feelings. Tekken 6, that is another game I have put so many hours into, not for the PS3 version, but the PSP version, which I had way back in there. I had a PSP 3003, one of the later ones, and I had Tekken 6 on it. I played so much of it. Of course, didn't play online because of, problems on, being young and not being able to use that. But it did not stop me from playing story mode multiple times, completing it, several times over, several ghost battles and everything like that. Ghost battle is still one of my favorite game modes in Tekken history as a person who played Tekken by myself, offline. There's Tekken... What happened? Tekken Tag 2. That one I actually played in my later years. I didn't really grow up with Tekken Tag 2. But Tekken Tag 2, I love it, Again, that one's also another controversial one because of the big damage combos. To put it simply, the balancing was not amazing. When you compare it to Tekken 8, though, oh, yeah, there's... I think it's fine when you compare it to that. Tekken 7 was, like I said before, the game that actually got me back into Tekken and playing seriously for once. Because, when all the other Tekkens came out, I was really young. Tekken 7, I was in high school. So, that's a long time ago now. But that one made me get serious with actually playing Tekken. I enjoyed it for what it was, with the frames, the frame data, plus frames, minus frames, who was meta, who was not. I had huge interest in seeing the competitive scene, and, just, it was really cool, Tekken 7, honestly. They did kind of drop the ball in Season 4, but honestly, it was enjoyable. Absolutely loved Tekken 7. And then Tekken 8 is when when Harada decided to step down a bit, not be the main guy, give it to someone else. And I believe that is when it kind of started falling off. Tekken 8, to me, right now, is considered one of my least liked Tekken games, which is concerning, considering it is the latest Tekken game. And now we have Harada stepping down. Well, not stepping down. That's a bit harsh. But we have Harada leaving Bandai Namco, which sucks, really does. Especially since he's leaving on such a low for Tekken 8, personally, for me. He's leaving on such a low with the horrible decisions of Season 2, which I'd like to think wasn't his decisions to make. But, that's just how it is, I guess. But he's leaving on such a low. I wish he could have, done something with Season 3. Leave it on a high, be like, Tekken's back. Here's Season 3. We have all of the movement back. Homing is not extremely broken and dumb. Everyone doesn't have a 1-1-2 or some type of thing. Just fixing Tekken back to what it was before, the one that we all loved. I wish he could have done that before he left, but, unfortunately, this is how, this is how it is. Anyways, let me just go into, into more depths of how the Tekken games have affected me. Because I started not with Tekken 1 or 2, but I started with Tekken 3. Not because I was born in that year, but because when I was born, I had a PS1 and it had Tekken 3. One of the best things to happen in my life, because Tekken 3 is considered one of my favorite games of all time, and I occasionally go back to playing it every now and then because of how good it is. It had the Tekken formula down like immediately. Tekken 5, uses that formula and just pushes it even further. Tekken 3 was where it began. This is where Tekken as we know it started, and I think you've probably heard that millions of times, but it can't be overstated that Tekken 3 was where it began. Tekken 1 and 2 was where it was trying to find out what it wanted to be. Tekken 3 is where it found it, where it found its identity, and it is the one that I started my Tekken journey with. It was also where I found my main that would stay my main to this day, and that would be Jin Kazama. Why? I just liked cool main character type of characters. I was a simple kid. He looked cool to me. He had that tattoo, or the devil mark on his arm. I loved that so much that when I was a little kid in school, I would get felt tips drawn onto my arm. Not any permanent markers, obviously, but I would use a felt tip for some reason, or like, what is it again? Oh man, yeah, I think there's felt tips, highlighters, stuff like that, draw it onto my arm, and then I'd rock it for like a few minutes until it washes off. And there was one time in school where I was with my friends in like the afternoon or something, and for some reason, like three or four of us were like, why don't we just draw it on our arms, and just walk around with it during break. It was really cool, and yeah, that is a very core memory of my childhood as well. It shows you how much Tekken affected me um, way back in the day. Oh man, good times with that. Tekken 3, going back to Tekken 3, that's where I found my main. That's where you get the cool gameplay feel and mechanics. But back then, I was far too young to know about frames or anything of that sort, or Korean backdashing, or wave dashing, or anything like that. I was so young that I just wanted to press buttons and see cool things happen. And Jin, was difficult. So, I didn't know the electric existed. The electric Wind God Fist. I did not know that existed. I was just pressing a bunch of different buttons, seeing how cool cool things were appearing. I would like to do Rising Sun a lot, which was the up forward 4 string. The spinny kicks. That was the move. Of course, I would get destroyed by my older brother because, that was the only move I knew. There was also forward 4, which was his knee, and jabbing, and that's about it. So I sucked. And I'll get bodied by my dad as well using King and his back 3. Or was it back 4? Whatever his plus move is that leaves him in back turn. That one. So many good times with Tekken. Absolutely loved Tekken 3. And that really paved the way for my love for Tekken, easily, because not only did I find my main character and love my main character, but I loved a bunch of the other characters in the game as well. It really just was the perfect start to my gaming journey, but also my Tekken journey. It was perfect. Tekken 4, I also had, but there was problems with the disc for Tekken 4, unfortunately. I only got to play it for maybe a couple years, and then at some point, it wasn't even scratched. It just decided it didn't want to work anymore, so I didn't get much game time with Tekken 4. But with what I did, I found it really cool. Like, the atmosphere was amazing, the music was cool, the places that you fight in were cool, the whole theming was cool, everything was cool. It was just great. But there was also the fact that the cover was also really scary to me when I was a kid. It's the cover where it shows like Kazuya, Heihachi, and Jin in like the stormy type of backdrop. Yeah, that was the cover for mine. It scared me really badly. whenever I saw it, but the game itself was very enjoyable for the amount of time I had. If you wanted me to specify on how we found out it was broken, we would go into character select screen, choose characters, and then it would just stop on the loading screen, and it would be done. Unfortunately, but then we came back years later, several years later, when I am in high school. I played Tekken 4 again, and it's great. But I'm so used to like Tekken 3 and Tekken 5 because at that time I had already played Tekken 5 on the PS2 before coming back to Tekken 4, and the movement was weird because if you hold down, it actually sidewalks. It doesn't crouch. You have to hold down back for that. Korean backdash, even though I didn't know it existed yet, I would eventually find out. And the Korean backdash doesn't exist. The backdash is really bad. The, only the side steps or side walks rather were really good because they would go super far. But movement was interesting. The gameplay was interesting in the fact that you don't have the same comboing system that you do in Tekken 3, where you hit them up with like an uppercut, let's say, and then you do a few hits and do big damage. But in Tekken 4, you hit them up, and then when you hit them in the air, they go flying away from you because the design philosophy that Harada had in Tekken 4 was he wanted up close and personal fighting, and he wanted more pokes and punishment in that way without launching you into the air and doing damage that way, which would ultimately kind of come back in Tekken 8, but I'll talk about that later. Anyways, Tekken 4, controversial game, but nowadays it is a beloved game in the Tekken community for what it tried to do. And with the music is so good. If you love Tekken music and you haven't heard Tekken 4, you definitely need to go and listen to Tekken 4's music because it's so good and atmospheric. It's different. It's different to all the other Tekken games with their music. Where's an example? I guess you can go to Tekken 8's music, where it's very in your face, energetic, and everything like that. Very punchy with all of its speed and, just in your face sound, I guess. But Tekken 4 was different because, like I said, it's atmospheric. So in Tekken 4, it was setting the mood of where you were instead of just huge energy while also setting the mood, but huge energy. Tekken 4 was very much trying to set the mood for where you were, how you should feel in this moment, fighting in, let's say, the lab, the underground lab thing. I can't remember what it's called anymore. It was G Corporation, I think. Or the airport. You have the music for that one. Absolutely just chill, chill vibes. There's this, that's the roof. The roof. Oh, I love that song so much, especially when it brings the drums in. But the drums usually come in on a knockout, which is unfortunate because I absolutely love that part. I am a sucker for good drums, so yeah, you can see I love that song. And also, you wouldn't think of it, but Tekken 4 has my favorite Tekken character select screen music ever. You don't usually hear that. Usually you'll hear Tekken 5's character select music, or Tag 2's character select music, or Tekken 3's character select music. You don't usually hear someone say they like Tekken 4's character select music, but I am saying that. I absolutely love that song. It's just so mysterious, but also like dark and gritty, which is exactly what Tekken 4 is, because this is where we get the homeless Paul, basically. This is where we get Emojin, if you want. We get Ami Hwarang. We get the introduction, kind of, I guess. We kind of had the introduction to this before, but Devil Kazuya, we got Kazuya back from the dead. It was way darker and grittier, and we, as a community, absolutely loved that from Tekken 4 now, but back then it wasn't like that. We hated that. So yeah, you can see Harada took a risk with that one, and it took several years for people to finally come to love it. But yeah, he took a risk, and that pretty much showed off what Harada was willing to do. Tekken 5. Let's talk about that. Tekken 5 is an amazing, 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 amazing game. Great game. If you've never played it, that's bizarre, because if you are a Tekken person, you definitely should play Tekken 5 so you understand why people say it is the best Tekken in the franchise. Tekken 5 has so many cool features and game modes that don't really exist now in Tekken 8, which is shocking. For example, they have the game mode where you can go through the history, arcade history or something like that. It gives you the arcade versions of Tekken 1, Tekken 2, Tekken 3, and oh crap, what is that game again? There's that space shooter game. I'll probably find out later. But yeah, 4 games, they're arcade versions in Tekken 5. You can play Tekken 5, or you can go back in time and see what they had before that in its arcade version, which is so cool. You would think Tekken 8 would have it, because their online mode, their lobby where you walk around, they have an arcade area. You'd think they would be like, huh, why don't we add all the other Tekkens into this area, and so we can make it playable online for people through the lobby, or they can go into, like, they can connect to other people who aren't in the lobby, but stuff like matchmaking. They add matchmaking to all the Tekken games there. You'd think you'd do it. When they revealed it, a lot of people were thinking maybe they will do it. Maybe they would. I was thinking that. I was hoping. But then the game releases, and then it isn't that. Not at all. It is not exactly what we wanted, which was disappointing because they've done it before with Tekken 5. Not the matchmaking part, but having the older games in it. Tekken 5 did that. There's also the fact that they added a completely different game within the game, which is called Tekken Devil Within, if I'm correct. I'm pretty sure it's called Tekken Devil Within, which was a story centered around Jin, just in a beat 'em up style, basically, with different stages, and it was crazy difficult in random moments. Yeah, I never completed that game mode, by the way. It was interesting. It was a cool idea, and the fact that we had that with an already great game was like, huh, you're giving us too much now, Harada. Like, he did so much because, I didn't say it, but Tekken 4, I think it sold less than Tekken 3 because of its controversy. Its competitive scene was horrible because the meta was horrible. Everything was not what people wanted from Tekken. So, come Tekken 5, he's like, okay, I'm going to overdo it. I'm going to give the people so much stuff that they just cannot complain. And well, he did it. Devil Within, the arcade history, those things, we didn't ask for it. We didn't expect it. We didn't need it, but he gave it to us anyways. Like, oh, man, Tekken 5. What I would do to actually get that game into a matchmaking situation where we can play it online. Tekken 5 DR technically is the thing, but, you know, in a modern setting, basically. Anyways, let's get to Tekken 5 itself. And I'll split Tekken 5, the original, and Tekken 5 DR into different things. Tekken 5. Tekken 5.0. Oh my gosh, the game that I have sunk so many hours into on that PS2 that I have that still is alive. Oh man, it's such an amazing game. The characters, like the character selection is big. There's a lot of characters in that list. There's a lot of good characters. This is where we got Devil Jin for the very first time, and he was super broken from the get-go. Because if you didn't know, people didn't like the Tekken 4 Jin, which was the Karate Jin. So they decided, come Tekken 5, he has the Devil Gene. Why don't we just put the Mishima style that everyone loves into Devil Jin's model? It'll work. And I think it did, except they made him a bit too strong, a bit too broken. Um, anyways, he was introduced in this game, and he became one of my favorite characters ever in Tekken 5 at the time. Uh, Mainly because I was in that phase of like really cool dark characters. Oh my gosh, it's this evil persona of this good dude. You know? Have you been through that phase? Because I have, clearly. Yeah, we had Devil Jin, we had a bunch of other characters. We had Bruce, we had Wang, we had what's his name again? Oh my gosh, I literally forgot his name. Anyways, we had Roger, if you wanted a kangaroo with boxing gloves in the PS2 era. Really annoying character to fight. I don't know if they were super strong, but they were damn annoying, I can tell you that. This is also the game where we got Christy, I believe. No, Tekken 4 was Christy. Completely forgot about that. But yeah, she's in that game as well. We got Eddie. Eddie was... Is Eddie an unlockable? I think Eddie was an unlockable. I think so. We had Bruce. Yeah, we had Bruce as well. We had... Who else is there? Man, my memory is not... We had Anna. We had... my gosh, Julia. We had Julia. We had a lot of characters. Let's just say that. Literally nothing is coming to mind right now. Oh, Heihachi was unlockable because we all thought he was dead because of the beginning of the game. The beginning cinematic, the opening cinematic. The most iconic opening cinematic of Tekken history. So iconic that they made it playable in Tekken 7. Yeah, I'd say it was pretty damn impactful if it made its way into Tekken 7 as a playable scene. There's also the fact that the other opening of Tekken 5, Sparking, also extremely iconic, was basically the blueprint for the Tekken 8 opening style, if you didn't know that. Compare them, you'll see why. You'll see where they got that influence. So yeah, Tekken 5 was so impactful that its openings, both of them, got used for something again later on down the line. The Tekken 5 gameplay mechanics. I've noticed I've been rambling on really weirdly, but bear with me. The Tekken 5 game mechanics, like I said before in the Tekken 3 portion, is basically Tekken 3, but enhanced so much. Juggles were back from Tekken 3. Tekken 4 didn't have them. Tekken 5 was like, let's bring them back, but let's make them even bigger and better and hurt way more and potentially be like one touches basically. If you launch them, they are dead. That was Tekken 5. They went all in, and they went kind of in the philosophy of if everyone's broken, no one's broken, which is what Tekken 8 went through. But here's the thing. Tekken 8 is dumb because of that. We want nerfs. Tekken 5 was amazing, even though it did that, because of other options that made it so it can still be destroyed if you were battling someone who was super good at something else, which is movement. Because in Tekken 5, movement was insane. Backdashes were huge. Sidesteps were huge. Korean backdashes were fast. Everything was so fast-paced. Huge jumps. You could easily create space and whiff punish with ease in this game because of the movement, which was something you seriously needed in this game. Because if you did not have movement, you were screwed in the competitive scene for sure. There was like... Ni was amazing at this. Kudan's was amazing at this. This was his prime. So you can expect the movement you saw in Tekken 7 for Kudan's. Oh, he was doing it way, way more dangerously in Tekken 5. He was a super threat back then. Oh, there were so many like insane players back then who had insane movement, insane execution. Like, it was so good. Like, search up a Tekken 5 competitive match online on YouTube. you'll find a bunch of videos, and I can guarantee that all of them will be freaking amazing to watch and interesting. You'll just be on the edge of your seat the whole time. Like, oh, man, breathtaking, that one. Tekken 7 had stuff like that, just not quite like Tekken 5, you know. If you enjoyed Tekken 7's competitive, you're gonna enjoy Tekken 5's competitive. Let me tell you that. It was so good. And, oh man, there's so much to talk about. The mechanics. I did talk about the combo damage, kind of. They added the wall splat. The wall splat was brand new in this game, and that meant that you could now do wall combos, which was so like it was this new thing that added even more damage to your combo and made you even more scared to not whiff in a game where whiffing is super easy to do. So, oh my gosh, there was so much in Tekken 5 that it was kind of overwhelming. But we were looking for this. We needed something good after Tekken 4. How that happened. So Tekken 5 was the correct way to go. Just take what was working and make it better. That's what every like games company should do now in terms of their philosophy. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Make it better. You know? Like, oh man, Tekken 5. I can't really talk too much about it because I'm going to go insane off of this heat that is happening right now. But Tekken 5 is a game that you cannot skip if you are into Tekken. The story mode is honestly super enjoyable as well. One of the best. I think in terms of storytelling, Tekken 4 might be better because of how dark and gritty it is, but Tekken 5 is definitely one of the best with its story modes, has a lot of memorable endings. I mean, the game's been out since 2004, 2005, so I can talk about some of them. There was the... I'm pretty sure this is the one where Heihachi decided to launch his son and grandson into space, strapped to rockets. You know, as the Mishima bloodline does. You had goofy ass endings like that. You had Lee Chaolan's ending, which has Heihachi again in frickin' what is this again? I can't remember. Let's say swim gear. That's a bit too tight. It shows a bit too much. The Tekken 5 endings alone, you know, you can watch all of them and you'll understand how enjoyable Tekken 5 just was for everyone who grew up with it back in the day. So yeah, I'm not going to spoil much about the story mode. I'm just going to say the endings are top class, and they haven't been able to top that, honestly. Maybe with Tekken 6 with some of them, but Tekken 5 is flawless with its its endings. It's at its peak in this game. Oh my gosh. What else is there to talk about? Huh. I guess there was technically the introduction of Ghost Battle in the form of arcade battle, was it? I don't think it was arcade. There was a specific mode where it was basically endless battle. You fought CPU, yes, CPUs, that had ranks tied to them, which would determine how difficult they were to fight. And it was fun. It was fun. I had a lot of fun with that mode. The reason why I love it is because the CPU was freaking insane to fight the higher you went. If you set the game to ultra hard, as you should if you're used to Tekken, and then go into that mode, which I cannot remember. I'm pretty sure it's arcade mode. You go into that mode, choose your character, you battle endlessly, you just force yourself to climb up the ranks. Man, that difficulty is insane. Because a lot of them know combos. A lot of them block super well. A lot of them are hard to punish. It's so good, that mode. They did it so well. And I like what they did with Tekken 8 when they did their new Ghost Battle style. But it honestly was kind of lacking, you know, in some way. Like, I'll go into Tekken 8 here. Tekken 8, they have the new Ghost Battle system, which is when you fight, it pretty much picks up on your tendencies and how you do things, how you move, how you attack, what does this, what does that, da 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 da. And then it makes a ghost starter, which people can battle. You can battle yourself and basically hone it and sharpen it to make it better. And you can effectively warm yourself up before going into an online match using that. It's cool. It's fun to play. It's just not as fun as the old school ghosts that you actually fought back then. Those ones were so difficult. Oh my god, I love it. And I can go back and play them and it won't get old. I love it. Honestly, it's Tekken 5, man, is a superb game that you cannot, I cannot stress enough, you cannot miss out on this game. If you have not played Tekken 5, go play it, okay? But I will say, go play Tekken 5 DR, because Tekken 5 DR is the more polished version, which came out a year later or something like that. It's more polished, it's way more balanced, characters are not nearly as broken as Tekken 5. All these endless strings or kill stuff that is easy to do, gone basically from Tekken 5 going into Tekken 5 DR. We got Armor King, we got Lily, and we got Dragunov, even though they kind of sucked in this game, especially Armor King with his forward 2-1. That thing is puny before it made it into Tekken 6. Dragunov had a horrible running 2, you know, but they were there. That's where they started. Tekken 5 DR is the one I recommend to go to if you want to play Tekken 5. But you can go back and play Tekken 5, the original version, because that's just the one, you know? It's so good, man. Tekken 5 DR's differences, I guess, is in the fact that it doesn't have the arcade history mode, which sucks. It also doesn't have Devil Within, which also sucks. So, you know, if you wanted to try those out, you can go back to Tekken 5, the original, and you will love it. Or maybe you'll hate it and rage because Devil Within is horrible in the fact that it's so janky and hard. But it is what it is. Harada was doing his best. Clearly, because Tekken 5 was absolutely amazing. Would I call it a masterpiece? When it comes to Tekken and its history, yes. Yes, I would. But if it comes to just all games in general, it can't quite fill that masterpiece gap. But it's near perfect. And I love it. Absolutely love it. Alright, I'm gonna stop you right now. This is the middle point of this episode. And of course, we as people need to hydrate, so make sure you have your drinks ready, you drink something, you eat something, you're in a good position. Make sure you are comfortable, because, you know, if you're not comfortable, that's not very good. That's not good for your health. Make sure you drink up, you know, because this is the halfway point, and we need you to be comfortable and happy. And I'll be happy. Good? We good here? Okay. Let's get back to it. Alright. Hopefully you had a good break there. I had to get my bottle from over here because I am sweating and I am getting a dry throat from talking so much. So, since I have talked up to Tekken 5 and Tekken 5 DR, let's go to Tekken 6, Tekken 7, and Tekken 8. And maybe I'll touch on the tag tournaments, but I probably won't. We'll see what happens. Anyways. Tekken 6. Tekken 6 is... Whoa, man, that is the game I have spent so much time in, aside from Tekken 5. Tekken 5 has taken so much of my time, just playing Ghost and playing story mode, unlocking all of the characters multiple times over, because it was just that fun. And my memory card was third party and corrupted, and I couldn't save anymore. But that is a nightmare I do not want to experience again. If you were a PS2 kid, you would know. Anyways, Tekken 6. Tekken 6 had a whole new era to work in. It had the PS3 instead of the PS2. It also was on the PSP, because that's why I played it, but I also played on the PS3 eventually. But it was on the PS3, So they were thinking, we gotta go big. We gotta do whatever we can in this new step forward into this new generation at the time, kind of next gen for them, you know? So they had to make a statement. Tekken 6 made a statement, but it was a bit. It's a bit mixed, this one. Let's go into that. Tekken 6, Harada wanted to go even further beyond, if you want to say that. How did he do that? He knew that we were going on for a long time with Tekken's old formula of pick up with an uppercut or a hop kick or something like that, do his combo in this air, wall, all that stuff, you know. It's cool, but we need more. So he decided, why don't we add a bound system? And that's where we get our first version of the bound, which is the bounce. The I don't know what you'd call it. The bounce when you get slammed into the floor. That one. That bound. I'm going to be calling that bound because I don't actually know what the bound is called. But the Tekken 6 bound, that one really shook up the competitive scene and really just shook up everyone who was in the Tekken community. This was brand new. Not only is this game given cool graphics, honestly, I think it's one of the best looking Tekken games there is. And then they changed the engine to Unreal Engine. But, you know, Tekken 8 is fine. But Tekken 6 visually was very good. I loved it visually. Jin was the most Asian he's looked ever in that game, though. Like, to me, he looks super different. But it was not bad, okay? It was not bad. Back on to Tekken 6, okay? Sorry, Jin. But graphics was super cool. The music was so good. You have so many iconic songs. The one you think of is usually Electric Fountain. Obviously. Maybe if you watch Maximilian Dude, that's probably why you know Electric Fountain. Because of how good it is. How good it is, not only as a standalone song, but as a fight song. It's good both ways. You usually don't get that with fighting music. Usually it's just either amazing to listen to by itself or amazing to have during the fight to give you energy. But Electric Fountain gives you more. It gives you both of them. And so, oh man, Tekken 6 had great music, a great soundtrack. Oh man, I just lost my train of thought. I just lost my train of thought. Oh, it's so hot. Oh my gosh. I didn't tell you before, but it's supposed to reach 28 degrees Celsius, which is actually insane. Anyways, back to it. I had another drink, because I needed it. Tekken 6, the soundtrack. I was talking about Electric Fountain. Electric Fountain, amazing song. There's also other songs in the soundtrack that are just as amazing. But why is that? It's because they decided, why don't we just have so many music producers for this game? Way more than Tekken 5 had. Why don't we just double it or something like that? They had so many different music producers, which is why there was so many different types of songs, different genres and everything, different energies, different flows, progressions, sounds. It was all different because so many different producers were on this game to do music. Tekken 6, man, its songs, I think this is where the music peaked in terms of, you know, Tekken music. It was really something else because of how many producers they put on it. There was at least one song that you absolutely loved in that soundtrack. That's what Tekken 6 was. Or you can love all of them. Like me, I loved all of the Tekken songs, all of the Tekken 6 songs, because all of them were great. What's my favorite one? The one where there's the, oh my gosh, I don't remember what it's called. The one where you're battling in this weird, like, warped world where jets are flying everywhere. That song is probably my favorite in the game. I could be wrong currently because I'm trying to think, but that one is the one I default to when I think, what is my favorite Tekken 6 song? It's that one. Super good song, that one. There's also I was thinking Lightning Storm. I don't think that's what it's called. But there's a lot. Just take it from me. There's a lot of good Tekken 6 songs there. A lot of good songs where they go just all in, you know, all in more than Tekken 5, which is bizarre, but that is exactly what happened. And Tekken 6 delivered with its music. Harada was very much correct in that decision, but I can believe it costs quite a lot to do, so, you know, there's that. The Tekken 6 mechanics, the game mechanics are basically the same as Tekken 5. But in Tekken 5, they decided... Tekken 5? Whoops. You can see the heat is getting to me. But in Tekken 6, they decided to add that bounce system. And that bounce system extended combos even more. You pick up, filler, bound, and then you do ender. That's where we would have that formula for the next Tekken games to come. Tekken 7 and Tekken 8 would ultimately have that style as well for combos. Tekken 8 pushing it overboard personally, but you know, I have another. I'll talk about that later. Tekken 6, the bounce system, extended combos. You could get really creative with the combos as well, and it also made it so that there was like a type of way to use it. Because in Tekken 6, the whole game plan for combos is once you launch them, you try to get them to the wall and then bound to get extra damage on the wall. Instead of, say, Tekken 7, where you have to bound before getting to the wall because the bound doesn't work on the wall. With Tekken 6, you could bound at the wall and you could get insane damage. With Bruce being one of the best characters in that game, I believe, personally. He had insane wall carry. His wall carry was really good. He had super powerful moves to get him his combos. He had great combo starters. He had so many good moves to chuck in just on the fly to get to the wall, to get that wall carry. He had insane damage at the wall post-bound. So much so, it was like taking away 60% of someone's health, 70% maybe even. Yeah, it sounds insane. That's what Bruce could do, but that's also kind of the stand for the meta in that game, with Lars being absolutely busted, Bob being, you know, a destructive force, Devil Jin being Devil Jin, you know, he's always been strong. Who else was strong in this game? Steve is always strong. In Tekken 8, he's kind of dropped the ball because, you know, they destroyed my favorite character. But, you know, add something else. Tekken 6, Steve was good, you know. What else is there? Hold on, let me move the mic. I'm going to get off that talk of meta. Tekken 6 was all about getting to the wall, bounding, and getting damage there. Did people like it? It was kind of controversial in that part because of the fact that you were adding another thing to the combos. Some people would say you're adding too much damage to the combos, or some people would say you're making them longer. You know, normal stuff that you'd get now. But, you know, all in all, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Thank you, Harada, for actually doing that, because I absolutely loved that balance system. Because, again, like I said, you can get kind of creative with it. And it was great. The Tekken 6 story mode. Okay, this one's a bit weird now. There's two different story modes, if you could say that. There is the classic story mode, which is inside the other one, which is Scenario Campaign, if I'm correct with that name, but Scenario. Yeah, Scenario, huh. I don't really like it that much. It's basically going off of the idea that Tekken 3 had, which I didn't actually talk about because there's a lot to talk about with that. But with Tekken 6, their scenario mode, they tried to go for Tekken 3's style of Tekken Force, but also the Tekken 4 Tekken Force and the Tekken 5 Devil Within, kind of getting all of that together to make scenario mode, which is in a completely different style to what Tekken usually is, you know, with the 1v1 3D, but, you know, uh, the fighting way that you know. The fighting way that you know. Yeah, let's go with that. The usual fighting formula. Scenario campaign, it's not that. It's not that at all. It's a beat 'em up. You go from point A to point B, basically, and you get story through 3D cutscenes and the like. A story centered around, oh my gosh, Lars. Centered around Lars, with how his memory was gone, and now he has to find out this, find out that. Honestly, I couldn't care for it. Didn't really enjoy it. When I was a kid, sure. Nowadays, no. No, I do not want to play that. Like, sure, it was an interesting idea to take. Again, Harada taking a risk. But do I think he should have done that? Not really. I mean, for the times, he had to do something brand new. And that was, you know, one of the brand new ideas. And I honestly feel like it kind of is like a split thing. It's mixed on if whether you like it or not. But don't take my word for it. You know, you can go play it yourself in whatever ways you can. Get it off of a ROM site or something. I don't care. Get it however way you wish. Play the game, play scenario, see how you feel about it. Tell me in the comments, let me know. Because in my personal opinion, I'm not that big of a fan of it. But yeah, they had the normal story mode as well. The normal story mode is very much an enjoyable game. Game mode, sorry. But it's kind of lacking because, at least in the PSP side, I'm pretty sure the console side as well, you would only play about 4 battles, and then you'd get to the final battle, and then that's it. So, not very long. You would still get like really cool ending cinematics, but you know, my favorite one by far. Oh no, what am I forgetting? Ah, yes, it's Bob's one. My favorite one by far is when Bob worked so hard that he became Skinny Bob, which would then become a playable character in Tekken Tag 2, which I absolutely love. Thank you, Harada. But yeah, the endings were fine. I like a lot of them. The Lee Chaolan one, you know, he doesn't miss. That one, he sends all 3 of them, Jin, Kazuya, and Heihachi to space instead. So endings in Tekken 6 are good. I still feel Tekken 5's is better, but of course there's some dead endings that I feel are kind of lacking in both of those games. So you know that's how it is. Anyways, Tekken 6. I've talked about the scenario. I've talked about the story mode. I've talked about the mechanics, kind of. I've talked about the soundtrack, where it's amazing. There's also the existence of Ghost Battle, which I also put so much time into Tekken 6. Just the same. No, even more than Tekken 5's version. The ranking system is basically the same in terms of how you can go up or down. You rank up your characters separately. You can gain money this way. Customization, I forgot about. You can customize so much in this game. This is the best customization has ever been in Tekken because you have so many character-specific customizations. Tekken 8 has horrible ones. Anyways, back to Ghost Battle. Ghost Battle was an amazing, amazing, amazing game mode for Tekken 6. And I wanted that to come back for Tekken 8. We didn't get it, unfortunately. But at least we got a fair substitute for it. But yeah, Tekken 6 Ghost Battle was the one I sunk so much time into because I didn't have online. So I would play against the CPU, and they had combos, they had punishment, they had with punishment, crazy. They had insane pressure. It's so good. Like honestly, go play these games. Tekken 5, Tekken 6, play them. They're really good. And like, if they release today with like modern graphics, I'd buy it, probably, unless they chucked microtransactions into it, which is a very possible and plausible thing for Bandai Namco to do nowadays. Anyways, Tekken 6. Good game. Now here's Tekken 7. I'm gonna go maybe a little bit quicker because I've been here for quite a while talking. But Tekken 7 is where, I came back to Tekken and played seriously. I came back, and this is also the time where I got my first taste of online for Tekken as well. Absolutely amazing experience for Tekken 7 online. Not in the fact of the connection, because the connection was kind of dog. You can go into Season 3, Season 4. Those ones were better, personally, I think. But Season 1, Season 2, kind of crap with how the internet connection was. Absolutely disgusting. I didn't like that at all. But the people that I played against was good, The actual players were good. You did occasionally find key charges and the like, it's normal Tekken. It's Tekken, what do you expect? But you would very much easily find people who were willing to do a thing that doesn't exist in Tekken 8, really. Death matches, The ones where you would play for hours on end against the same person willingly because both people would choose to rematch and play against each other and have fun for hours. Yeah, that thing. That is one of the big reasons I love Tekken 7, and one of the big reasons I despise Tekken 8. Because Tekken 8, they took it away, and they decided, best of 3, why not? I don't like it. You can still technically do death matches, kind of, in the quick match mode, but not in the ranked mode. I have always thought of this. They can add death matches back. They just need to make it so that once the best of 3 is done, if both people accept to rematch again, it takes away the point system and it just lets you battle it out. You're not losing points, you're not gaining points, you're just battling for the fun of it because you like battling this person. Thus a deathmatch. That's an easy fix to do, and it's been 2 seasons, almost entering 3rd season, and they haven't done it. Why? Couldn't tell you. They just want to be Street Fighter 6 so bad. That's my honest opinion. But yeah. I went on a rant. Tekken 7, death matches were fun. Absolutely. I don't know what that sound was. But super good, super fun. What else was there about it? Well, Tekken 7 was pretty bare bones because they didn't really have any special game modes. Team Battle doesn't exist. Survival mode doesn't exist. They had Time Attack, I think. They had arcade mode because, of course, they have to. It released in arcades. Naturally, they would have an arcade mode. But they didn't have Team Battle. They didn't have Survival. They didn't have Gold Rush, I guess you could say. That's not really a missed game mode, but, that's there. Ghost Battle is gone. There's so many modes gone. The special mode that they gave you was a DLC, which was, what was it again? Bowling? Tekken Bowl mode? Which was not good. Like, of all the gamers to go for, you choose that? Why? You can clearly see Tekken 7 had a lot of problems. But it's mainly because of the fact that Tekken 7 wasn't supposed to exist. Tekken 7 didn't really have the budget, but they did what they could with it. And I'd say they did pretty well. But the DLC stuff was very much a thing I was not a fan of. You would get DLC characters, obviously you pay for them. They would appear every season. This is where the season thing started, by the way, for Tekken, the Tekken franchise. We had 4 seasons in that. Season 1 was pretty fun. Season 2 was also very fun. That's where we got Negan. Season 3 was controversial because of the fact of Leroy himself destroying Tekken. We also got Lydia. I think that was season 3 as well. She also destroyed Tekken. We got Fakuram, who also destroyed Tekken as well. I don't remember if he was season 4 or not. He might have been. We also got Kunimitsu. Like, I have a lot of very negative things here. But honestly, Tekken 7 was very enjoyable because of the fact that the online uh, worked well enough, and the fact that we had the deathmatch ability, and also because of the gameplay mechanics being very fun, because it was still Tekken. It was still Tekken. You still had movement. You had the Korean backdash. You had the wave dash. You had good backdashes. You had good side steps. You had a good, okay, okay hitboxes. It was Tekken. It was exactly what we wanted from it. All they did was just change the balance system to the screw, the tailspin. I think it's tailspin to the tailspin system, which was very good and made combos kind of difficult to do, but very rewarding. Jin had his $100 combo because of a stream moment with Eris, avoiding the puddle. Good times, that one. Good times. Can you believe that was ages ago now? Holy. But yeah, $100 combo, super difficult. You had Kazuya with his insanely difficult combos. You just had difficult combos everywhere. King had his difficult combo. Combos, I believe, were at its peak in Tekken 7 in terms of difficulty to reward to just enjoyment factor, I guess. Absolutely loved Tekken 7 with how it was in its mechanics. Mechanically, it was good. It did introduce armor moves, which I hate. It did introduce rage arts, which is kind of, I'm on the fence with that. But they also introduced rage drives, which I wish would come back because rage drives were kind of balanced, personally. It was a good comeback move, When you're low on health, you get to either choose your rage art or your rage drive. Rage art, depending on the character, was safe or unsafe. Rage drives were basically the way to get you back into the match or steal the match if you were someone like Steve, who had an insane rage drive. Kazumi had a good rage drive. Jitten was kind of decent, yeah. They were also not only ways to create combos, there were ways to extend combos or to make situations where you usually cannot do something there. Like, I felt that was such a good decision. But then, okay, here comes Tekken 8, which I am not going to go too much into because I'll probably have a separate episode for that. But Tekken 8 is a disaster. I hate Tekken 8. Tekken 8 mechanically is fine. It feels good to play. The side steps are fun. They're nice. The backdashes, I think, were decreased, kind of. They made a quicker backdash if you spammed back. Korean backdashes were kind of nerfed, kind of. It's all fine. Side steps, oh wow, amazing. They're bigger side steps. Only problem is the fact that you can't sidestep anything. Homing moves are everywhere. The frickin' heat engages for some reason like to actually home in. There's some moves that usually aren't homing that for some reason in certain positions are like, oh, I'm gonna home now. Bang! Like, I cannot. Oh, Tekken 8 has really scarred me in the fact that it is not Tekken. It's literally just some like Michael Bay movie. This is what Tekken's become. All because Harada decided to step back and let other people do it. I believe that decision has kind of ruined Tekken. I guess it was bound to happen, but is Harada the only person who's competent on this team for Tekken? Seriously? Surely not. Surely there's someone else, Anyways, Tekken 8, I'll just say I do not like much. I'll get into another episode for that. But I cannot do it right now because I am sweating bullets right now and I want to end this episode before I pass out. So, thank you, Harada, for, the so many years, more years than I've been alive, of just creating an absolutely amazing franchise that is Tekken. And I wish you the best of luck later on in life, for whatever you do, whatever you wish to do, I hope it goes right, because you made Tekken exactly what we loved it for. So yeah, thank you for that, honestly. And yeah, I can't really say that enough, but thank you, Harada. Yo, thanks for listening to this episode of Frame Perfect Input. Yes, this marks the end of the episode, but we're on every week. When, you may ask? We come out with new episodes on Tuesday, on Friday, and sometimes we have a bonus episode that appears on the weekends, either Saturday or Sunday. Sometimes we'll be there, sometimes I won't. Depends on what is happening in the gaming sphere or how I feel in that moment. So, if you are interested in that, then stay tuned. Maybe hit that bell, follow us on Spotify, do whatever you must if you want to stay on track with what we have in store for you. You can find me on YouTube at Misty Mist, spelt Misty, MYSTYMST. And yeah, I'll see you next time on the next episode. I'll see you later, and hopefully the cooks are in next time.